They say the River Jordan is where heaven once touched the earth, where the divine entered the flow of the human, where prophets crossed, miracles unfolded, and redemption was washed into skin and spirit. But if you stand beside the Jordan today, you might mistake it for a ditch. What was once a powerful current, carving borders, beliefs, and stories, is now a trickle. A narrow, murky line cutting through the desert, heavy with salt, shadowed by fences and choked by silence. The Jordan River isn't just disappearing. It's being drained by conflict, by neglect, and by a world that has forgotten how to protect what it prays to. This river, stretching just over 250 kilometers, holds more spiritual weight per meter than perhaps any other body of water on earth. To Christians, it is the site of Jesus' baptism, where water met divinity and the heavens opened. To Jews, it marks the entry into the Promised Land. To Muslims, it flows through lands blessed by prophets. It is mentioned over 180 times in the Bible. It has been sung about in hymns, traced on maps of pilgrimage, and held in the hearts of the faithful for millennia. But sacredness, it turns out, is not a shield. It does not protect against pollution, politics, or pipelines. The Jordan has lost over 90% of its historical flow. That's not a typo, 90%. What remains is often little more than agricultural runoff, sewage, and industrial waste. In some stretches, the river barely moves at all. The reeds don't sway. The fish are gone. The air carries not incense, but the sharp sting of ammonia. So how did we get here? In the 20th century, as the Middle East industrialized, each country that touched the Jordan began to see the river not as a shared blessing, but as a resource to control. Israel built the national water carrier, redirecting vast amounts northward. Jordan constructed dams and reservoirs to supply its thirsty cities. Syria and Lebanon made their own diversions, and the Palestinian territories, fragmented, besieged, were left without meaningful access. Instead of a ribbon connecting cultures, the Jordan became a line of division. Instead of a river of faith, it became a battlefield of survival. By the 1970s, much of the water was already gone. What remained flowed sluggishly into the Dead Sea, itself shrinking at an alarming rate. And with the water, something else began to vanish: the memory of the river as holy. Today, tourists still come to the Jordan's baptismal sites. They step into roped-off areas with white robes and plastic bottles, hoping to touch the same waters Jesus once entered. But the water is no longer the same. It is warmer, shallower, darker. And beneath the surface flows a paradox: we still believe in its power, even as we destroy its source. Faith without stewardship is emptiness, and the River Jordan is its reflection. But this isn't just about theology. It's about ecology. When rivers die, ecosystems unravel. Birds that once followed the wetlands now disappear from migratory paths. Soil dries. Salt seeps in. The Jordan Valley, once lush, is turning to dust. Communities who once lived by the river are moving away. The economy falters. The air thickens with heat and hopelessness. And the silence of the river is echoed by the silence of those in power. And yet, beneath the surface, something stubborn remains. The Jordan still remembers what it once was. So do the elders. So do the children who hear stories of what their grandparents saw. Fish jumping like silver sparks, trees hanging low with fruit, weddings beside flowing water. That memory is not gone, not yet. And in that memory lies possibility. There are small movements, quiet, fragile, but real. Israeli, Jordanian, and Palestinian environmentalists working together, sometimes in secret, to clean tributaries and restore wetlands. Faith leaders calling for water justice, pilgrims returning, not just to be blessed, but to bear witness, to say, This river is still holy. Even if it hurts to look at, we cannot change the past. We cannot unbuild the dams, unburn the politics, or undo a century of neglect overnight. But we can choose reverence again. We can remember that holiness is not what we receive, it's what we protect. And that protecting a sacred river means more than ceremony. It means reimagining cooperation. It means sharing water, not hoarding it. It means listening, truly listening, not just to the prayers, but to the river's own voice. That voice may be quiet now, but it's not gone. It's in the last ripple of dawn. It's in the palm of a hand lifted in hope. It's in the cracked earth that still waits for rain. And it's in us. Because if the Jordan disappears, we don't just lose a river, we lose a story, a symbol. A part of ourselves that still longs to believe that the earth remembers what is sacred, even if we forget. So if this story stirred something in you, subscribe to Myths and Mysticism of Rivers. Because rivers don't just carry water, they carry memory. And when we lose them, we lose the stories that once made us human.